Hello everyone. Today on the show we are joined by Ms. Suman, a business analyst based in Singapore who has built a successful international career through continuous learning, adaptability and determination. Beyond her professional achievements, she is a fitness enthusiast who has completed marathons and strongly believes in the power of discipline and self-growth. She also aspires to become a public speaker and inspire others through her experiences. As a member of our Profluent Insight community, she has been actively working on strengthening her communication skills and, of course, confidence as well. Let's dive into her inspiring journey and learn from her experiences of living, working, and thriving abroad. So let's welcome Miss Suman on stage. Hello, Suman. How are you?
Hello, good morning, sir. I'm good. Thank you very much, sir, for having me on the show. I'm really grateful for this opportunity.
It's our pleasure actually to have you on the show. And as I was talking about you to our audience, that you really have, I think, balanced your professional, personal life and done some wonderful things. And I'm sure that we are going to have an interesting conversation. So before I begin, I would like to know originally, where are you from? Now you have been living in Singapore for quite some time. Sometime I say.
Yes.
So just give us your brief, like where do you belong to, and how did you land in Singapore?
Thanks for asking me this question, sir. I'm originally from a beautiful district in Uttarakhand called Nainital, though my hometown is about 45 kilometers away in a town called Haldwani. People often call Haldwani the hub of all the hilly stations. It's like a mini Delhi for the surrounding villages.
Okay.
After completing my graduation, I got married, and that time I was pursuing my masters, and I followed my husband his job place, which is in Gurgaon. So we were living there for 5 years. After that, my husband got opportunity to work in Singapore in 2017, and we have been living here from then now. And as I told, not to my husband, to others also, for women is like after having babies, after having kids or baby, then you just have to follow your husband like a refugee, just backpack and get ready wherever he is going. So I also followed him from Gurgaon to Singapore.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, how did your professional journey in Singapore begin? Can you throw some light on that? Like, was it really tough and what happened and all that? So, please take us through that.
I would start not only from Singapore. I would just try to put some lights on how my overall professional journey
Yes.
began.
Right.
So my professional journey wasn't easy at the start. I got married. I only had bachelor degree, and I was pursuing my master. I felt if I try finding a job now when my master's was not completed, so I might not land in good kind of job. So I was trying to complete my master's first, then I was looking for a job. While doing my master's, though it was not a full-time program, I enrolled for a banking coaching and during my masters, and I took that banking coaching. After that, within 2 years my daughter was also born. When I was doing banking coaching, I was not enjoying, because from somewhere in my childhood when I was studying, I felt I'm not someone who belongs to public sector. I wanted to go in a corporate life. And after that, when my daughter was 2 year old, that time I thought my dreams are fade away. I couldn't go anywhere else. But I didn't take it so hard. I was very ambitious and determined, to be independent. So while pursuing my masters and doing this, handling my daughter as well, I enrolled for some courses that can help me to get a job in corporate. And from there, my mentor also suggested me how I can apply via Naukri.com or any platform that can help me to get the job. And after one or two interviews, I got a job in India. So there, actually, the thing is, I don't know how to say, but I got a job where my husband was working.
Oh,
So it was in the same place.
acha.
And people thought that I got a job because of him. It
Right.
was not true at all.
Right.
I got a job from my application through Naukri.com,
Oh.
and people thought, okay, it is easy for her to get a job because his husband was there, but it was not that true.
Hmm.
So there, and my husband got offer in Singapore, so I quit my job. It was hard for me because I had so much struggle behind it of getting my first job. So I didn't want, but as I told, women are refugees.
Ah.
So I followed my husband here. I tried looking for a job, and it took me 9 months. He was in employment pass, and when you are working, when you are finding a job, being on dependent, it's very hard in Singapore, I would say. So it took me 9 months, but at my all hard work, all practice, all exercise, whatever I was doing towards my career, I got success in 9 months, and I got first job in Singapore.
Wow, wow, wow. You must have felt not only relieved but confident also after that, because it was the first job also was your pure endeavor. The second was more so because now you could and others could credit yourself for that. But I've heard that Singapore is known for its very strict rules and discipline and all that. So, how did you get adjusted to that? Was it really challenging and difficult initially? And how do you see that now?
Absolutely, sir. Singapore is known for its discipline and high standards. One big difference I noticed that how organized everything is, whether it is like public sector, people working in any organization, any business processes, and if it about their punctuality, all are very organized, I would say. And when I came first, it was difficult when I came to Singapore. People who don't belong to your country, but after some time I found my way to adjust with them, not only in my professional but in my personal life as well.
That's good. So, do you find some kind of professional cultural difference also there when you are working? You have been working there for how many years? You have been working there now, Suman?
9 years.
9 years. So now, do you think that yes, there is some difference in Indian professional culture and here in Singapore?
Yes, sir. I have seen that the professional culture wise, one big difference is in India, people are not punctual in
Nah.
your timings. So, for example, your working hours is 9 to 6.
Right.
Someone is coming 10 o'clock, someone is coming 12 o'clock. But here, if your timings are 9 to 6, you can't late by 5 or 10 minutes. Like you must reach there by 9:15 or 9:20, like that. Other than that, people are, what I can say, that people are strategically thinker. Maybe it could be a reason because it's Singapore is full of diversity. People are from all over the world. They have their own strategic towards the work, so they come together with it. So that is something I did not see in India in my working duration.
Great. I also know that you are a fitness enthusiast. You are sort of a fitness freak and you have run marathons also. How did this start? Can you tell us about this journey of being a fitness enthusiast? And when was your first marathon and how did you take it there? So please take us through that journey.
This is very nice question for me. I love to answer it. The journey really means a lot to me. Back in India, I always passionate about fitness, but I noticed that for women, it wasn't always easy. People would judge you if you went to the gym or you are working out outside or you are running in a road. So people will always there to judge you, especially when it comes to women. For my running journey in Gurgaon also, where I ran in road, so people used to comment me, oh, why did you put on that much weight, which now which led you to work out now? So these kind of comments, not only from few people, I noticed that it can come from anywhere in India. So this is one thing, but I'm a pahadi girl, like hills and height. It's my habit. So I used to run in India. I started running in Singapore. I have seen that not only men, women are also fitness freak in Singapore, and you have a exposure to run better. You have a platform to run better. Stadiums are near. You have gym in your society. You can do. I mean, you can't excuse yourself to be a Yes, free.
Mm.
So when I came to Singapore, I was not working for first 9 months
Mm.
when I was just looking for a job.
Mm.
So I thought like, okay, since I'm doing finding a job, it's not taking my whole time. I could start something.
Okay.
So I started running from there.
Oh.
And initially I did not thought of running for full marathon. I started running in my condo gym, and then I felt okay, I'm not getting sweat enough. I should do something else. Then I started
Okay.
running in road, so
Okay.
and the stadiums which is nearby.
Mm.
So how I started, not the first day I started running like 20 kilometer or something. I started from a small duration. So how I did manage, so first I will run at least 30 minutes, and that 30 minutes how I will do first 15 minute I go and first 15 minute I will come. So I
Okay.
always keep that motivation, at least I have to run 15 minutes. If I reach there in the 15 minute, then I
Yeah.
need to come back, right?
Right.
So I started like that. So after that it became habit, and I then after that I try to keep small challenges. Okay, today I must do 5 kilometer, next day I must do 10 kilometers, something like that. And it was not easy initially because I had to manage my baby, but I did not lose hope. Every day I used to go in the morning, even though sometimes time didn't permit in the morning time. So I told my husband I had to do this thing.
Okay.
When you will come office, you have to manage daughter, then I will go.
Wow.
So like that, I started, and one day I ran full marathon. And before running full marathon, I ran 21 kilometer, which was around 2 hour 40 minutes duration. And for that 21 kilometer in a marathon platform, I ran 2 time 21 kilometer by myself in
Oh.
morning.
Okay. Just to test your stamina, like whether you can
Yes.
stand it or not.
Yes.
One.
And then when I ran 21 kilometer, I had enough confidence to go for 42 kilometer.
That's great. That's great. So, what inspires you actually, despite your tough professional career? There are challenges there. So how do you balance that? And what inspires you to keep running, to keep working on yourself as well as fitness is concerned?
What I believe, sir, when you start something, right, then you see the changes on yourself. Okay, I'm doing 5 kilometer, I can go beyond that. So
Right.
these things are keep coming, and your hungerness of achieving something, right, it's started. So for me also happened like that. I thought, okay, I started 5 kilometer now, and something that I could not do in India, I have a exposure now doing in Singapore. Why not I should take this benefit? Other than that, I had some health issues, and I thought medicines won't work for long time. I need to work something for my health that can be a long lasting effect. Medicines you have to take continue, right?
Yes.
So it was something played a vital role in my life to go beyond, go always beyond what I feel.
That's great. And you also aspire to be a public speaker one day. You want to talk to people, you want to meet people, record them, their experiences, and all that. So, where did it come from? Where did it originate?
For that, sir, what really inspired me to become a public speaker is my life journey. I feel like the experiences I have been through, my ups and downs, are things many people can relate to. I want to share my stories because I think when we open up, we help other feel less alone and build a community. So from there I feel like people are also hesitate to tell their moments, tell their stories, right? So that also inspired me to talk to people in that way, and like becoming a better speakers to know about others experiences. Everyone has, I feel, many experiences in their life, so I feel it will be a good connect with the people if I start something like that.
I could see the glimpse of it when you made videos inside the community, which is like
Yeah.
a very important activity that we do. And I especially like that video actually where you are standing on the balcony and you are telling a story. So could you get some inspiration from that? And then you started thinking, yes, I should do this way also. Is that the good way to connect with people? Like talking about their stories, asking them questions and all that?
Yes, sir. I wanted. I made that video, and I always. I won't say it's a push from your side. It always a confidence which I feel
Very
whenever you say make videos
Mm.
and correct yourself wherever
Mm.
you're feeling. I
Mm.
feel like it's a small push, but it's a confidence that I'm getting from
very
you. So that made me motivated to make such kind of video, because I had some stories about my marathon. So I thought, why not share with the people? And yeah, I mean, going forward also, I have a plan, but I'm not sure when it will be open up. But yeah, I wanted to do that.
No, please keep doing that because you are so good on camera, and I really admire it the way you speak actually when you are on camera. You are, I would say that you are more confident when you are on camera. So when you're talking to people, this is what people want. People want a confident guy in front of them so that they can get something out of them. So you need to extract something out of them, and you're very good at that, I believe, because you know how to tell stories as well. Okay, so keep working on that. But by the way, I just want to ask you one more thing. Like, how did your communication journey start? Now, when did you think, yes, you should work on your communication and all that, and then you joined our community, Profluent?
Actually, to improve my communication, it was always in my head, sir, because I came from a government school, where not from the English medium school. And when I saw kids from English medium school, I always wanted to talk like that. And but I did not get chance earlier. And when I started working in corporate in India, in there also, after 3 months I got opportunity to work in Ireland and UK. And there, the people not Indian whom you are speaking, people are totally
Yeah.
from different country. Their
Yeah.
accents are different. It
Right.
was very hard to understand initially, but I found my way there also to communicate and pass my messages. But it was always in my mind, better communication and better influencing skill is will always help you wherever you are. So now, back then I came to Singapore, I have seen people like they are very good, and I felt that this is something that I really need to work on. And when I joined Profluent, from my offices also, I got a feedback that I'm good at my work, but somehow if I could improve my communication, would be like spices in vegetables, like that. So for that, and I saw you and ma'am also in Instagram and YouTube, I felt so connected with you, like
Thank you.
like I can talk to you anything.
Yeah, thank you.
So it was some kind of connection when I saw you first time.
Thank you so much.
That's why.
So, talking about your journey as well, like we do a lot of stuff on the show in community in Profluent. We have one-on-one, we have community sessions as well, we have talk room sessions, and of course, activities like video making and all that. Which one is your favorite and why?
I love actually all the things that you and ma'am arranged, whether it is one-to-one session, talk room session, or sometimes Saturday evenings. Actually, I wait for it
Oh,
to have that circle sessions where you give extra limelight on how we can improve, or how we can become a better speakers and all, right? So all the sessions are very good for me. But if you ask me to choose one, I will choose one-to-one session. And the video making part is most impactful for me, though I'm not able to make videos frequently. But I really like doing that. And one-to-one session is my favorite. It is because I know I can mistake and get immediate feedback, and next time that correction stays in my mind. Since it's a habit I have had since childhood, I know I need to break it, and the sessions are really helping me to do that step by step.
great. Wonderful, Suman. So, Suman, if you want to give some pieces of advice to somebody who wants to work abroad, a lot of people back in India, they want to work abroad, especially the women. And you have talked about the women in India, some prejudices about them and all that kind of stuff. What would you suggest them? Okay, generally people, and of course, specifically women also, what should they do if they want to have a a career, successful professional career abroad?
If you want to build a career abroad, first believe in yourself. Trust your skill for your work in India. Focus on improving your communication and influence, because those are key. And yes, you will have to work harder. Things abroad move faster, and technologies is more often more advanced. So always keep forward looking mindset. Think strategically and ask yourself, if you can do it in India, you can do it in anywhere. So trust yourself, build your good communication skills that can lend you abroad wherever you want to come. Don't be afraid what you are doing. You're good at what you are doing there in India. You will be good when you will come abroad. So trust yourself. Women are always in top notch.
Yeah, they are. We have women in India also doing some remarkable work. And in a way now, they have forced the society also to change the outlook. It had actually earlier about women. They have forced their way up in many places. You look at sports, they are always at the top. You look at corporate also, they're moving up very fast. We have a lot of heads actually of the corporates now. They're making news and all that. One thing I would like to ask you just at the end, Suman, you have had a wonderful life and of course experiences that you would be sharing with your viewers and audience. I believe that in the near future through your podcast or whatever journey that you undertake. But if you have to just analyze your life, your whole life from Haldwani to Singapore, okay, and the last 15 years, what lessons did you learn, or what lessons would you like to give to our viewers today?
The lesson I would share is the importance of believing yourself, even when it feels hard. Another lesson that consistent efforts matter more than sudden success. So take small steps every day, and it will really give you a add up in the things that you are doing. And always be ready and stay adaptable. Things change fast, and the ability to learn and adjust is what keeps you moving forward.
Thank you so much, Suman. It was really a nice conversation with you. And I'm sure that our viewers must have learned a lot of lessons out of that. And it would give inspiration to a lot of women back in India also who now want to have a successful career abroad. It was a pleasure to have you, and we'll definitely meet soon again.
Pleasure is mine, sir. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Suman. So this was Suman from Singapore for you. And as you could see that we have a lot of stories where the women especially, they started from a small place and nothing to support them but their own belief. And then they make their way to uncharted territories. And I can understand it's very challenging, but then it is rewarding as well. So this was Suman for this particular show. And for our next guest in our next show, keep waiting. We'll soon release our next episode. For now, this is all from 1% Podcast Show. Bye-bye. Take care.